one and all, Jasper here, and after reviewing Galavant in my last video, I thought it would be fun to talk about my favorite songs from the franchise. Now, how are these songs to be judged? Well, obviously how important they are to the story is quite key, and will be partially factored in. But at the end of the day, these are songs, so no matter how important they are to the story, if they are shit, then it's not going to do well. So the subjective quality is the main driving force. Though since Galavant is a musical comedy, it makes sense to also take in the humor. Did I laugh while listening to it? Did I laugh because of the visuals on screen? If I did, it's going to help the song out. Ready? Then let's get started.
If on every point of note we simply took a vote, we'd build a new tomorrow here today. So
Building a New Tomorrow barely makes it on the list due to being a decent toe tapper, but a funny one. A happy jingle song about the wonders of democracy and how forward-thinking and progressive they are, even though half of the song is simply listing who isn't allowed to vote.
The lepers
and the gingers and the witches and the
Like those filthy gingers. Never trust a ginger. Bastards are kissed by fire, and fire will always burn you. It does fall flat on being an important song, though. It does explain why Richard's castle and armies are gone, but honestly, I was already pretty well hammered in before the song even happened. Still, I had a good time, and when I was re-listening to it for this video, it still made me chuckle here and there, so it's gotta be doing something right. Not going to lie, Company Gold makes it onto this list for this singular moment.
Me?
He was surprised.
Funniest shit in the first season, no question. I can't put it any higher though. The comedy doesn't quite stick around because the entire point of this song is to show just how unfunny Richard is by giving him 2 moments to tell jokes that just aren't good. Really, for this song to be great, it needed Richard to be morbidly funny, like how he just shoved a man off the balcony. We, the audience, can laugh at it, but it makes sense why the characters in the show don't find it super humorous. Case in point, in the soundtrack version, since you don't have the visuals of Richard murdering someone, they have more lines, and this joke is actually kind of morbidly funny.
What's black and white and red all over?
I don't know, sir. What is black and white and red all over?
Those guys, after I behead them. Huh?
I mean, it isn't side-busting, but sure, shit is better than the serfs and leper joke. Speaking of, I got a better leper joke. How do you fit a dozen lepers into a car? Piece by piece. You know, I'm doing a lot of complaining. Does this song deserve to be in the top 10? Well, it gets some bonus points for being important to the story. Because of these comedy lessons, the jester now feels guilty for porking the man's wife and actually breaks off his affair with her, which results in him getting taken away by the guards and tossed into a dungeon. It isn't exactly world-breaking, but it's pretty key to where the character ends up and how he plays out with the rest of the story. So yeah, 9th feels right. Also, it's mine list. Fuck you.
But finally, things began to happen. Finally,
things involving tongue.
finally, and the night was still kind of young.
Finally, we can talk about finally. Yeah? 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 God, I should be a screenwriter. My talents are wasted on YouTube. Finally has a soft spot in my heart for being a homage to the Grease song Summer Nights. At least, I think it is. Didn't do any research, it was just the first thing that came to my mind when listening to it. The song is performed well by our 2 actors here, and I just find it so amusing for 2 people to be singing about the love they have and gossiping with fucking zombies. It's very tonally deaf in the best way possible. Plus, at this point in the story, Richard has evolved from a genocidal king to a bumbling hero with a heart of gold, so it's nice to see him get the girl. I feel like that sentence will bite me in the ass someday. It's a little lacking with character development, and more hammers in that yeah, these 2 are fucking, or as Richard would say, getting jiggy. A fun little listen about something good finally happening to poor Richard. Though I admit, I'm probably heavily biased considering I did a Grease performance in high school, so maybe the song activated a kill switch in me from those days. But a good kill switch. The first and only song that is solely sung by Mallerie Jensen in the first season, and she blows it out of the water.
Here's a clue, no one but you, no one but me. Nobody wheels and double deals and killer heels like me.
How good is the song? Well, it failed in 2 areas and still made it onto this list. It is entirely pointless to the plot, just telling us things we already know, that Madalena thinks everyone around her is an idiot, but thinks that she is a genius. It isn't particularly funny either. Maybe a line about the push-up bra, but that's stretching. The simple fact of the matter is, Mallerie is a fantastic singer, and it's a crying shame she only gets 2 songs that are really her own. She has a nice, low, feminine drawl that works with her despicable character. This shit could be a Disney villain song. Take a listen to this one if you have any time to do so. The precursor to Finally.
If you don't screw up this moment somehow, maybe you won't die alone.
We have Maybe You Won't Die Alone. In my opinion, Joshua's best performance in the series. A nice, relaxing, romantic melody as Galavant tries his best to set up Richard and Roberta by advising the goofball king. It hits 2 points very well, being fairly humorous with its lyrics and being wonderful to listen to. Plot-wise, it's a bit more on the iffy side, but it's at least integral enough to where if you skip it, you might be a little confused on what's developing. Though they have been hinting at these 2 becoming an item since she was first introduced, so you don't need the song to spell it out for you. If you ever have a date over, make sure to play this, and who knows, maybe you won't die alone because of it. The main theme of the first season, and arguably the entire series.
Way back in days of old, there was a legend told about a
The song
hero
is
known
beautifully
as
performed.
Gal.
There are a good amount of jokes, like kids talking about disembowelment, and it sets up key story elements not just for the episode, but the entire season as a whole. Not to mention, it's a perfect opening, because honestly, if you don't like this song, you're probably not going to like the series as a whole. It lets you know exactly what you're getting into at the start. So, if it succeeds in every single aspect I am judging these songs on, why is it not number 1? Simple. I am a hipster and I don't like picking the obvious choice, but more so because the next songs on this list I just find more enjoyable to listen to, and I have pulled these next songs up every once in a while to enjoy in my free time, which Galavant doesn't quite make it to, sadly. A very simple song, but like how a hammer is a simple tool, it does its job perfectly.
We're off on a secret mission. We've got us a secret plan. We're going to go and slay your bro as quietly as we can.
Galavant and Richard getting drunk and bonding over being mistreated by the same bitch, the 2 come to a reasonable conclusion on how to fix both of their issues. By killing King Richard's brother. Confused? Don't be. There's a reason I didn't mention him in my review video. He was as needed to the plot as nipples on a breastplate. The one good thing we got out of the character, though, was this song.
It's time to think we're off and away. But first another drink.
A fun, upbeat musical about 2 men who were mortal enemies not too long ago, now getting along like the Japanese and skydiving off buildings. It's a pretty integral song as well. After all, enacting a plan to kill someone is quite important to the plot, and the overall humor of how open these 2 are with the plan adds to the absurdity. Its weakness is the music itself. It isn't bad by any means, but it's a bit of a repeat song. You take 15 seconds at the beginning and repeat that for 1.5 minutes with different lyrics, and bam, you're done. Still, it's a good time and makes me want to go off on a secret mission now. I hope you're watching this, brother. Be safe. Yep, we are back to Mallerie, and it's time to talk about her best song in the show.
Is it a feeling? Could I be feeling somehow?
Wonderfully performed, it is beautiful to listen to the melody of this song, and the lyrics, while not funny, are incredibly emotional. We've never seen Madalena in such a vulnerable state. It's a very humanizing moment for her. Not enough for you to forgive the shit she has done, but maybe get you to the point where you pity her. It's very integral to the story as it starts the bloom of the relationship between her and Gareth and sends it down a far less toxic road. I mean, toxic for them. It's still toxic for most people around them. After all, Gareth gifts her the earrings of the girls who humiliated her, still attached to their ears, only for her to say she likes them better that way. Hilarious, adorable, and emotionally all wrapped up. But the really beautiful moment is how right after the lyric she has been saying over and over changes its meaning. Before, when she said, "What am I feeling?" she was talking about the sadness or embarrassment that was driving her to tears.
Can I unfeel the way I feel today.
But this last time she says it, she's talking about the love that is growing for Gareth. So what comes after a masterpiece like that? Well, it's gotta be Stand Up. It's the only song on this list that isn't performed by a character in the show. It's just a joke training montage that goes way harder than it has any right to, and really gets the blood pumping and wants you to get into the gym with a smile on your face at the same time, because the lines are pretty humorous, with such mentions as you need to grow a pair and you gotta lose the gut. The visuals also help out a bit, as the jousting that takes place is fun enough to enjoy, with bits of visual humor, such as Isabella riding on Galavant to get him into shape. Not in that way, you pervs. They saved that for the 3rd season. It's probably the only song on this list that I listen to weekly, as it's on my Spotify and usually comes up when I'm at the gym. So if you're looking to finally hit the gym while having a laugh, well, this song is going to be my most recommended. The final song on this list, and I wonder how many of you could have guessed which one it was going to be.
It's a good day to die, to stand and fight until we're dead. A good day to die.
For me, I knew it was going to be It's a Good Day to Die, mostly because of how much heavy lifting the story does for it. Didn't expect the show would end on a reasonably climactic way with a massive battle between 3 armies, with lyrics that would make Sarge from Red vs. Blue proud. Rest in peace, Sarge. While the formations of the battle are non-existent, the tactics make Battle of the Bastards look genius, and the defenders choose to fight outside their castle walls, I can still say it's better than the last night, because at least I can see what the fuck is going on. I still get a smirk when I see Chef and Gwen locking up their doors as 3 armies converge on their little hut, Gareth taking out his rage and frustration at how the relationship is going on the enemies he is facing, Richard being the bravest coward ever put onto the silver screen, Isabella being a badass but still not going as far as I wish they went with her, though her parents fighting with a ladle and a wooden pizza peel make up for that. Is it musically the best? No. What Am I Feeling holds that title. Is it the funniest? No, but it's up there. I get a lot of chuckles with the visuals that are portrayed in the big battle. Is it the most integral to the plot? It's really high on that mark, but still no. But actually, I think I know a better way to explain why I like this song so much. Endgame was, for all intents and purposes, a bad movie. Though despite its flaws, I still can't help but watch the moment where all the heroes get together and launch a massive charge into the enemy. A Good Day to Die gives me these same feels, though on a much, 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 much smaller scale, obviously. But there we go. This is my list. Did any of you watch the show after my review? If so, do you agree with my list, or would yours be different? Make sure to put your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will read them all. I mean, obviously, I'm still a small channel, so what else am I going to do? Until then, be safe, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.